There once was a little girl who hated being alone. One cold and rainy night, her parents were running late for an event, but the new babysitter hadn't arrived yet. The little girl begged her parents to stay, but they were in such a rush that they left anyway. The little girl sat alone in her house that felt big and scary without her parents. She jumped at every creak and clutched her stuffed animals tight when it thundered outside. Suddenly, there was a knock, knock, knock at the door. She breathed a sigh of relief and rushed to let the babysitter in. Standing there with no umbrella was a very small woman. And oddly, despite the rain, she was totally dry. "I'm here to take care of you forever and ever." And then she smiled, a smile that was so wide it went up to her ears. The little girl was nervous about having such a strange babysitter, but at least she wasn't alone anymore. The girl started playing with her stuffed animals, and for a moment she forgot all about the babysitter. But when she looked up, the babysitter was standing over her, staring with her giant smile. The babysitter then took her hand and led her to the hallway where all the family photos hung. As they slowly walked from photo to photo, the little girl got more and more afraid. In each picture, her parents had been replaced by the babysitter. "I'm here to take care of you forever and ever." The little girl pulled her hand away and ran to get her stuffed animals, but they weren't where she left them. She frantically looked in her room, but they weren't there. She even went down and looked in the creepy basement, but her animals were nowhere to be found. She tried to hold back her tears when she heard talking in the kitchen. She crept in and saw the babysitter holding her stuffed animals, telling each one, "I'm here to take care of you forever and ever," before throwing them into the oven. The little girl screamed and ran up to her room and locked the door. She jumped into her bed and hid under the covers. But then she heard whispering coming from under her bed. The little girl slowly looked down. And there was the babysitter underneath the bed, smiling at her. "I'm here to take care of you forever and ever." She reached out her long, veiny hands and grabbed the little girl by the hair, dragging her under the bed. But the little girl broke free and ran to the door. It wouldn't unlock. The babysitter slowly slid out and shuffled towards her, saying, "Forever and ever, forever and ever." She grabbed the little girl and... Headlights blazed through the window. The little girl's parents were home. Her mom and dad rushed into the house. They'd come back early because the babysitter had called, saying that she was sick and couldn't make it that night. They called out for their daughter, but there was no response. Terrified, they ran through the house, desperately looking for her. But if they would have looked a little more carefully, they would have seen that there was a new photo on the wall. A photo of the little girl surrounded by all of her stuffed animals, which were now burned and deformed from the oven. And the little girl was crying in the photo because standing over her was a small woman in tattered old clothes with a wide smile, who would take care of her forever and ever.